so much for staying with us. If you've just joined us, it's the Daily Report. And on Daily Report tonight, we're talking about the mass defection. Yesterday, we looked at it, and I did say that we would continue with that discussion today. And we're looking at the effects, of course, that it will have on the 2019 election. But what other options are there for Nigerians as we watch politicians move from one place to the other? The All Progressive Congress, APC, has said that its priority for now is about the 2019 general elections, not the defections of its members to the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. The history of defections in Nigeria, I must tell you, dates back to 1951, when members of the NCNC defected to the AG to prevent the NCNC candidate at that time, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, from winning the majority in the Western Regional Assembly. Defection or party hopping was also rampant in the Second Republic, yet this was a time when the parties even had an appearance of ideological differences. We'll get to look at party ideologies also and manifestos in the course of the program. There have been concerns about whether or not party hopping weakens the party system or the political system, as it were, the legitimacy of parliaments and perhaps voter confidence in democracy. The ruling All Progressive Congress, of course, has been gripped by that fever of cross-carpeting, while publicly the party is saying that they will not lose sleep over it. The most dramatic statement was by the Minister of Information. He said that Providence is removing stones from the party's rice, the same rice they have been eating for 3 years now. Late-night statements by party leaders suggest that if the party is sleeping at all, it is doing so with one of its eyes open. Now, with Senate President Bukola Saraki and some of the governors and few others that have left the APC, it's not only the rice stones that the APC will have to worry about. The stones already lodged in the party's intestines might just have to be as deadly as anybody can think of. The party is getting a taste of the medicine, and the party is not finding it exactly funny. That's the truth with all of what's been going on. Nigerians woke up to some kind of drama today at the National Assembly. It is something all tied to the defection. When the party is not talking about it, it is somehow preoccupied with the weighty affairs of state. Of course, that's the reason they were voted into power in the first place. We'll be looking at all of that. My guest tonight is someone who's running for office himself. He's a presidential candidate, Mr. Victor Okhai. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Okhai. Good to see you this evening.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let's have your take on what happened today at the National Assembly. How did it come to you?
It's a shame. But I'm glad that the legislators stood up to the occasion and didn't buckle under intimidation by the security forces. This was the case in the past. The executive arm would, as represented by the security forces, would ordinarily go and hijack another very key and equally important arm of the government, which is the legislature. But today, that the thank God for social media, quite frankly, because we saw a lot of these things live. I woke up quite early this morning and I started seeing images, on my phone, on Facebook, on WhatsApp and so on. Video stills and all of that. It was like blue by blue
accounts
of what was going on. And so that put a lot of pressure, and obviously the government had to do something, otherwise it was a shame, and the international community would have, it was already bad enough.
So what do you make of the issue of trust, integrity, party loyalty and all of that with what is going on? This is a house that has actually gone on recess. What were they doing there at that time of the morning?
Well, when you said what would I make of trust, loyalty, and I was going to ask where is the trust, where is the loyalty and all of that. The house has gone on recess. Before they went on recess, it was agreed by all members, and traditionally this is a period where the House would usually go on recess because it's, well, if we were to borrow the term, it's summertime,
Right.
you know, our long vacation, where members of the House and their families would take time out, you know, after the long legislative year, and go for vacation wherever it is, and they're
But
entitled
some
to
have
it.
said, some of our lawmakers, what do? Many of them just sit in the house.
No, but that's not true. I happen to know. I mean, it's easy to just say that.
Yes,
What you no,
many
let me say this. Let me say this. If I hadn't said it, then I would say the thing is what you don't see is much more than what you see. What you see in the green and red chambers is not really what happens behind in the committee rooms. That's
Right.
where the real thing is going on. You know, there are so many hearings and all of that, and they're constantly meeting with different groups. You know, and all of that. So that's the real engine
The
room.
real job.
So yeah, so what you see in the green and red chamber is probably where you do the eyes and the nays and all of that.
And the eyes always have it.
Exactly. You know, and that's where the business of the day would usually be, you know, reeled out and all of that. But the real job of lawmaking is not what you see, it's what is not seen. It's like the spiritual controlling the physical. So what we see on television is what you call the physical, you know, but the real part that does the job is the spiritual, which is the part that we don't see.
But this Senate
You know?
has been characterized with so many dramas, if you look at it, one after the other.
Yes.
Remember what it was like before the man came in as Senate President? Now there's another controversy as he has moved over. As I said to you, they were supposed to be on recess. What would you think made everyone gather there at 7 a.m. today?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying, even if it sounds controversial, but that's my opinion.
Right.
I think this has been the most vibrant Senate. This is how it should be. You know, a Senate, I mean, a
Where people
National
say it as it
Assembly,
is.
not just saying it as it is. The National Assembly is not a rubber stamp or an appendage of the legislature. They must query whatever. I mean, it's easy to have a dictatorship like what you have in some of the states, which is why many states are not thriving, because all the assembly members are just yes men and all of that. So whatever the executive says, whatever the governor says,
what it's gonna
goes.
be.
Exactly. And so that's why there's no progress in a lot of these states. But for once, you find a very vibrant National Assembly. I mean, they can challenge, and they have a right to do that.
But would you say
Whatever
that the
just comes.
friction, would you
Yes.
say the friction has it done democracy?
No, it
done
has.
Nigeria
It has.
any good?
It has. That's how, for the first time we discovered padding. For the first time we discovered, you know, a lot of things that ordinarily would have just passed, you know. And so I think it has greatly enriched democracy, you know. And as to what happened this morning, which you have asked me
Yes.
twice in different ways now, let me get straight to that and then we can move on. Now, what happened this morning? I mean, I started by saying that they went on vacation. They all agreed. You know, if the executive knew it had any bill outstanding, they should have done something about it before then. They have a legislative liaison person, you know, Ita Enang, or what's his name, you know, Senator Ita Enang. All of this ought to have been taken care of. In any case,
Right.
how can you be bringing a budget at this time of the year, you know, or a supplementary budget, if you like? These are things that you should know to do what you should at the right time. Now, you cannot begin to hold people responsible if you fail to do what you should do at the time
You're
that you
supposed
should
to do
do
it.
it, you know, and then begin to look for scapegoats for your lapses and your excuses, you know. And so the legislators deserved their holidays, and there was no point trying to you know, bundle them and then bring them back and say, oh, you must come back and do this, or you'll be holding Nigerians to ransom. There's a certain outstanding loan that you have to approve and all of that. Didn't you know that all this while? How can you pick now of all times? Unless, of course, you just want to pitch the public against them as they've always done. You know, so for me, and I'm not sold by any of that. I see through the prism. I see through the whatever glasses they're painting. Exactly. And so, for me, what happened this morning is, I mean, you can see the writing on the wall. When you see what happened in Benue, for instance, where they tried to use 8 people to sack the assembly. I mean, this is a mockery of democracy. And then trying to use the same method again at the National Assembly.
But that happened a lot during the PDP.
No, that's not my business. I'm not. Right. For me, I'm not holding forth for any. I'm not interested in. They're all same of same. It's the same set of people. Doing the same set of things. So I couldn't be bothered. It's the same set of people. I'm not justifying one or excusing the other.
Exactly.
If it happened before. We cannot say because it happened before impunity must continue ad infinitum. No, we cannot do that. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter if it was allowed in the past. As we say in street parlance, when you wake up, the day you wake up is your morning, or whatever time you wake up is your morning. Exactly. So we cannot continue to allow impunity. Okay, and so if an illegality has been condoned in the past, we must not allow it again. Nigerians are getting more aware. We're becoming more democratically literate. I mean, we're still young as a democracy, but we're getting more literate and getting more educated and more informed. And so you find ordinary folks, even kids, right now, are ready to engage, and they have an interest. They're taking an interest in what is going on. So I think if a party, in this case, I'm not necessarily talking partisanship, but if a group, for instance, suspects or had suspected this morning that another group exactly was going to do something untowards, and I would say it wasn't misplaced, because otherwise, what were the state security personnel or functionaries doing there at that time of the morning? Who did? Who did means, I mean, it means that the motives were obviously, as we say, not pure. You know what I mean? Yes. Why would you?
Let's see your face.
Exactly. They were hooded, they were armed, and right even into the hollow chambers where it is clearly written that no firearms are allowed. Whatsoever. That was a desecration of the hollow chambers. So they were right in their suspicion. However it has turned out, they were right. Otherwise, what would those people be doing there? Why were they stopping them from going in? That's not their primary area of responsibility of job. Nobody complained. If anyone wanted security there, the Senate leadership or the National Assembly leadership would have done that. They would have requested.
And it actually looks like a hostage situation.
Yes, it seemed like a hostage situation.
All right, this is the Daily Report. We're talking about the mass defection. I'm sure some people are still warming up to crossover from party A to party B. And we're not looking at parties tonight. We're looking at the people, the actors involved. How interested are you in this matter? You can be part of it by joining the discussion here. The numbers to call 0906 000 7158. I'll take it again, 0906 000 7158. You can send your text message or your WhatsApp message, send it to 0906 0005748. Two numbers, they're so alike, but WhatsApp is 0906 0005748. We'll go on this break and we will be back. Please stay with us.